slow computer, then it's probably one or two or three of the following things that I will explain.
First thing we want to do is take a look at the task manager. This is a great place to start. So from here, we see, well, I see three main causes usually. Can have way too many startup apps enabled, and that's not good. It just slows down your computer. If it takes, a while for it to sign in every time you start up your computer, there's something going on, and most likely the culprit is a startup app or having way too many, and it's just overloading your system. Usually, from what I see by default, it would be something like MS Edge, Microsoft Teams. You might have the OneDrive, any other applications running there. If you install applications, sometimes they may be already defaulted to start up, and you definitely don't want that because you don't need 1,000 applications just launching as soon as you boot up your computer. I would just start off by right clicking, disabling. In my case, I would enable it, but not really. The second thing we check would be the performance tab. You can check, the utilization here. Your CPU may be having a high usage, and you could take a look here, the performance tab itself. If you notice that that it's running way too high or higher than usual, or consistently meeting a certain threshold, then you want to take a look at the processes tab. Most of the time, it will be something like the Chrome browser or having way too many tabs open at a time. Let's say you run Adobe Premiere or Adobe Acrobat and you have Chrome with a dozen tabs open. You definitely don't want to be doing that, especially considering the specs on your computer. You want to make sure that you're not running anything that's way too intensive on your computer because it's just going to slow it down, and you don't need that. And the last thing we do want to check is the storage settings. You can take a look at your storage. If you are running out of storage on your computer, that can also slow down your PC a lot. So you want to make sure you're always cleaning up space, clearing up, just to make sure that you know your system is running as efficiently as possible. One way to do this is go into installed apps. If you have any apps that you probably don't use, just good to get rid of them. Just do that. It's easy to do. Go through it, click on the three dots here, uninstall, and it's an easy way to go through them. Sometimes you'll see that it does not have the size option or that information displaying. So you can also go through those as well. And even if that's not displayed, it might be taking up a lot more space than you realize. Other things you can check are like the temporary files. You see here I have 20.5 gigs. It could be anything from your downloads. I keep a lot in my downloads, and I probably shouldn't. I should definitely clean that up. If you're just like me, then you're most likely keeping this amount of space or taking up this much space on your computer as well. So what I would do is probably, if you really need whatever's in that download folder, which you probably don't, upload it to maybe something like the Google Drive. They give you a free amount of space that you can use, and it's pretty cheap to purchase even more space if you really do need it. And there are many other sections that you can look through, like your documents, others, maybe the user profiles. If you do have other people who do use your computer, sometimes that can also take up large amounts of space. In my case, it's not something I really use, so there's nothing really to remove. I have one other user profile. Yeah. Now if we jump back to the processes tab, we can take a look here. You see the percentages, and it kind of shows us what's really using up your CPU or causing it to slow down. Because if this gets to a high enough number, let's say over 50 to 60%, then you can for sure guarantee yourself a slow computer. You see the memory here. This is just Google Chrome running. I have about 11 tabs open, which is not good. This computer is a little bit on the older side, so we definitely want to make sure that we don't have as many open as possible. And especially depending on what sites you're visiting. Let's say you're visiting YouTube and you have multiple tabs with videos in the background. Yeah, they don't have to be playing, but they can also take up and use a lot of that memory on your computer, which you don't want running. And one other trick that you can kind of, to help yourself and see what the biggest culprits are within this processes section is you can just click on the CPU filter option here, and it'll go from highest to lowest, and you can take a look and see what's the what's causing the biggest issues, right? Do the same with memory. Probably in my case, it's the memory that's probably causing the slowdown at the moment, since I do have this many Chrome tabs open and the Windows widgets. So it's good for me to kind of look through those. And you can click on this drop down here, and you see the tabs. There's one tab that's taking up a lot more than it should be, or than we should let happen. If you want, you can go ahead and close from here, or just go directly into the Google Chrome window and just close down those tabs yourself. And if none of this works, there's one last thing that I think you can check that should be able to help. So we'll take a look at system properties. So from here, click on that advanced tab here, and you see where it says performance. So this is something that can slightly improve your performance. What I would do, usually this is where it's defaulted to, but if you'd like, you can select adjust for best performance. This will pretty much deal with a lot of the cosmetic side of things on your system. Anything like shadows, animations, it'll kind of remove all of that, and those things can slow down your computer since it's putting in that extra effort on your system in order to animate and kind of make it look a little bit nicer. Who doesn't want that? But if you have an older computer and you like to speed it up, this is something that you can also try. It's not a bad thing to try. If it's still slow after this, then it's probably not software related. We may have to try something hardware related, and I do have a video on that. But probably the biggest change that you can get from an older device would be changing from a hard drive over to an SSD drive if the computer permits. If you enjoyed this, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe.